Hey everyone, Rob B here, and of course I'm with Rob D, and of course you are listening to the Property Podcast. Boy, have we got an exciting announcement. So let's get to it.
Yes, welcome. It's going to be a shorter episode today, but nevertheless a very exciting one. We're sure you'll agree when we get into it. Shall we say what it's about? Shall we tease it a little bit more? What do you think?
Yeah, a little bit more, just because before we get to there, I think we want to, if you will indulge us, a small milestone, a big milestone for us, probably not quite for our audience, but we were on the Tropical MBA podcast recently, and if you'd like to listen to that show, it's the tropicalmba.com/property podcast. What is that podcast? Well, it's arguably, for both of us, one of our favourite podcasts of all time. Certainly one that we've listened to for a long, long time. I remember when I started the business, my memories of it, Rob, that, you know, listening to Tropical MBA, Dan and Ian, and listening to those guys, really, really impressed. And if you listen to the podcast, you'll see took a lot of influence from it. But when I was starting out in business, those guys gave me a lot of inspiration, and I really, really enjoyed the journey they went on. So it was a real privilege to go on their podcast.
Yeah, it was a fantastic chat that we had. So we're on there talking about property. So if you do decide to have a listen, you'll understand everything that we're talking about. We'll have covered it before, but it might be kind of interesting to hear us explain these concepts to somebody who's not really in the property world. But also go and dig back into the entire history. They've got, probably about 5 years or more of back episodes in there, and there's some absolute crackers. So if you are in any way business-minded, which you should be if you're investing in property, then tropicalmba.com is the place to be. And hopefully we might be making another appearance on there in the future.
And if you do enjoy it, make sure you leave a comment. I know Dan is very active on the comments, so if you enjoy the show, let him know, or if you've got any questions, ping them there. We'll be happy to answer them. Right, Rob, news story. Well, this whole episode is a big news story, and I think it's time. I think after months of hard work and labour, it's time to make this big announcement.
Yes, and that announcement is, if you go over to thepropertyhub.net, you should be very pleasantly surprised by what you see, because we've been very busy. Well, our team's been very busy behind the scenes. And while we always want to do high quality stuff and we're happy with what we put out, we thought with the website, it was time to raise the bar. So the Property Hub website is at the center of everything we do. That's where you go to find links to all our material. And for the last little while, when we go there, which we do all the time, we've kind of thought, this isn't quite looking as it should do. And if only it did this, if only we could do that. Well, we have invested a lot of time and a fair bit of money into making that happen. So we've completely overhauled the Property Hub website from the ground up. We found ways of making it look better, be way more useful, of packing loads of new value in there. So it really becomes the one place that you need to go for everything to do with property investment, the ultimate property investment resource, if you will indulge our cheesiness. So before you click over there and check it out for yourself, or maybe while you're doing it, let's just quickly run through some of the new features and the surprises that you'll find over there.
Yes, there's lots to be excited about. The first thing, and it is important, it looks gorgeous. It's a lovely website. Well, apart from the pictures of Rob and I. But other than that, the website looks ace. It was super slick. A lot easier to navigate around. In the past, yes, you could get there and move around. But as Rob said, we weren't happy with the standard it was at. So now, a much nicer way to navigate the site in all forms. I'll give you more information on the bits that have changed, but every single part of the website, without exception, now looks better and is now easier to use. So I'm sure you'll be very pleased with that. But it's not superficial, it's not just looks, there's plenty packed in behind it as well.
Yeah, and my favourite bit is the podcasts. So it's actually really surprising how many people go and listen to the podcast through the website every week rather than subscribing and getting it on their phone. So we've made it way better. So if that is you, you should be very happy because you've now got a player which is much easier for you to deal with. It becomes a more pleasant experience for you to listen to the podcast on the website. But we still want to tempt you over to subscribing so the podcast comes to you rather than you going to it. So we've put together a easy to follow video and some instructions to make it easier for you to do that as well. Also, something that we hear all the time is people saying, I've just found the podcast and there's just so much to get into. Have you done any episodes about X? And the answer is almost always, yes, we have. But we've now made it way easier for you to find previous episodes. So everything that we've done in the past is now tagged by different categories. And also there's a search box. So if you want to see, have they done anything about HMOs, or have they done anything about refurbs, you can just search those terms and find all the episodes that we've done about those in the past. So you don't have to be like one of those mad people who goes through the entire thing sequentially. You can save yourself a lot of pain and just go and find the episodes that you need straight away. So that's the bit that I'm most excited about. But there's plenty more as well.
There certainly is. For example, events. The Property Hub meetups have really taken off in a big way, and the summits sell out months in advance. So the events page now is a lot easier to use. If you're looking for a certain area, or you're looking to just book there and then, you can do. It's super simple to book on any meetup, and of course those meetups are all free. So make sure you check out the events page. You'll be pleasantly surprised of how easy it is now to grab your ticket to one of the meetups.
And we're also making it easier to subscribe to the magazine. Because, we talk about the magazine a lot. We talk about all the stuff that's in there, but maybe it's rubbish. Maybe we're just talking a load of nonsense. Well, you can check for yourself now because there's a full copy of the magazine on there. So you can go and check out a back issue to make sure before you subscribe it is something that you definitely will get a lot of value from. And we're also giving more information about the summit. So we've been doing summits now for unbelievably nearly 2 years. And as a result of that, we've learned a lot more about what works, what doesn't work so well, what people's questions are coming into it. And so we've incorporated all of that into the page about the summit. So we make it way easier for you to find out what it's all about, decide if you want to come along and book your place. Not that you can book right now because we're sold out for the rest of the year, but next year's dates will go on sale soon. At that point, you'll be able to book on. So the magazine and the summit are the only things that we do that we charge for. In the case of the magazine, we hardly charge anything, but we do charge. So we thought, hey, we'll just give you way more information up front so you can be even more sure that you're making a good decision.
Another good decision is the fact that we've overhauled the forum. So the forum is a big, big part of the website. And you're probably thinking, why haven't they mentioned the forum yet? Well, don't worry. We just wanted to tease it and save a bit for you. The forum looks completely different. It's just as nice. So I mentioned at the top of the show that the whole website looks great. The forum is part of that. It looks much, much better. A lot easier to use. And some important changes as well. We are now able to use mentions. So how many times have you been writing a post and somebody, who commented earlier, you want to mention, well, you can copy their stuff in, but you may be able to mention somebody who you know is an expert on a subject who's on a Property Hub, tag them. Absolutely brilliant feature. I'm sure the people who use the Property Hub are going to get a lot out of it. One that really bugged Rob and I as well is, yes, you could access the Property Hub on a mobile, but it wasn't the best. That's been dramatically improved as well. So super excited. I know Rob mentioned the podcast, big changes there, but I'm just as excited about the improvements on the forum. It's going to be a much better experience. So make sure you check that out too.
So as a listener to the show, hopefully you are going to be really excited about this because you go over to the Property Hub website on a regular basis and you get bugged by some of these things that have been needling at us as well. But if you haven't signed up for the Hub yet, it's okay. I'm sure it's just some kind of oversight. We're all very busy, but you are mad if you don't sign up for the website. And just to give you even more encouragement, we've overhauled the sign-up process and we've put together a guided journey to suit you. Because again, there's loads and loads of stuff on there. And it can be overwhelming to know sort of what the best starting point into it is. So if you just tell us a little bit about you, we'll put together a guided journey through the site to suit you. So we'll flag up the best podcasts for you to listen to, the forum posts that you're going to get the most value from, and all the content that's going to suit your particular situation. So if you haven't signed up for the Hub yet, make sure that's the first thing that you go and do when you stop listening, and we will send all of that your way.
We could have made it easier as well. As you land on the homepage, you click Get Started, and then it takes you to that page, and you choose, as Rob said, your journey. That is something you need to be doing straight away as soon as you finish the podcast, because we put a lot of effort into creating those journeys, and the continuing content you'll receive, as Rob said, will be specifically for you. So again, this is something that you can see why it's taken so long to build this website now, that we're really excited about. So you're probably thinking, Blumenek, they can't do any more. Well, no, you're right, we can't do any more right now, but we do plan on doing more in the future. For example, courses. So many people love the courses, and they are on there, and they are also looking a bit better, which is great, that lead into the courses. But we are committed to bringing you more because we always get such great feedback on the free content courses we put out. We have more planned. We have one that's being edited right now. So keep an eye on the courses page. Of course, for those people who are already members of the Hub, you'll get notified when those courses are released. Again, if you haven't signed up, are you bonkers? Make sure you are, because you'll be first to hear about the new courses that are coming out soon. And lots of them as well over the next year. So, that's been a rapid fire list of all the things we've done. We are super excited about launching this. And it's ready now. So go to thepropertyhub.net and take advantage of the website. It's been a lot of work putting it together. But Rob, while we have got our faces on it, and yes, we're the people who come up with a lot of the ideas, we can't take, well, not even most of the credit. We can only take a tiny bit because it's really the team that's delivered this.
Yeah, this is typical business owner, really, isn't it? You kind of come up with an idea, plaster your face all over it, and then get someone else to do the actual work, and then pop up on a podcast and take credit for it at the end. Yeah, all the credit is due to Rachel and the team at the Hub, who've done all the work towards making this happen and done an absolutely brilliant job. And we came up with the idea, the team put in all the work, but it's the community that really makes it into the resource that it is today, and that what it's going to be in the future. And it's really exciting for us to see the vision that we had for the Property Hub community come alive. We wanted it to be a happy and a friendly and a really useful place for all property investors. And that's exactly what it is. When you go to the forum, or you go to a meetup or a summit, wherever you meet and interact with members of the community, it's just such a friendly and positive place. And that's exactly what we wanted. And as we go around and meet people, we hear all these stories about members who've met up and helped each other out and shared information. And that's just absolutely brilliant. So we now feel like we've got a website that does all that justice. So go over, check it out. Thank you for your help in building it into what it is today. And we're really excited to see what it looks like a couple of years down the track.
We'll launch a forum post about the new forum so you can give your feedback, and we'll link to that in the show notes. And the show notes this week are at thepropertyhub.net/ultimate. But you'll find it in the forum when you go there. We'd love your feedback. What do you like? What do you want to see more of? What do you dislike? Let us know. We've built it for you, as we've said. We can build this wonderful website, but if you don't use it, what's the point? So we've built it for you. So let us know what you think. What do you like? What do you want to see more of? And what would you like to see less of? Let us know. And as you've probably realised by now, we'll make it happen. So next week, we're back to normal, and we've got a cracking episode, and I'll get to that shortly. But we've talked about the community so much. Let's read out one of the reviews. And this week's podcast review comes from Cruxy88. And Cruxy says, having notched up a few rental properties, I was ready to hang up my hammer and wait for the mortgages to be paid off. But after reading Rob's book, Beyond the Bricks, on holiday, I subsequently subscribed to the Property Podcast, and now I'm eager to get out and buy my next batch. Well, thank you, Cruxy. I don't know if we should be saying thank you or apologising, but it's great that you've been inspired to get back into the mix and start investing again. And that, as we always say, those type of reviews always make us smile and very, very happy. So I'm glad you've been inspired.
Yep, love to hear that. So at this point in the show, we normally give you a resource of the week. I think we've already done that fairly comprehensively. The Property Hub is this week's resource of the week. So let's talk about what's coming up next week when we get back to normal. So next week, the return of Pete Matthew. So we had Pete from the Meaningful Money podcast on the show a few weeks back. We had so much good stuff in that interview that we didn't have time to air. We're going to have him back again next week, talking about some alternative ways to invest in property. So this episode has just been a quick one. That's okay. Enjoy the break, because it's going to be a very meaty one next time around.
It is. It's definitely high level. So hopefully you enjoyed the first time round. And that was a good introduction to personal finance. But definitely the conversation got pretty deep, and we'll do our best to explain things and break it up for you. So make sure you get along to the Property Podcast next Thursday. And of course, let's not forget Ask Rob and Rob on Tuesday, which we're doing more of now in each episode. So look out for that. But thank you so much to the community. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. We've been able to build this website because so many of you have shown an interest and because so many of you have a passion for property. So truly and sincerely, thank you. It's a pleasure. We love doing this, and please keep showing interest so we can keep doing it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to The Property Podcast. For show notes, all our past episodes, and to leave a review, go to thepropertyhub.net/podcast.